Hello, this is Pastor Lisa with Raven Fed, the channel where we talk about spiritual practices that help us get through tough times. Today, I guess we could argue that this is not exactly a spiritual practice, but it's certainly a practice that helps me get through tough times because it helps me feel a little bit more in control because I am organized, and that always helps me feel calmer and more relaxed because I know what I need to get done. This is my planner. It is a Moleskine. I've got it decorated on the cover here with a sticker from a local artist here in Homer. This is the Moleskine Weekly Planner, and I'll just open to a blank page here in the back. So down the left side of the planner are the days of the week. It's a Monday start planner, so it goes Monday, and down here at the bottom, Saturday and Sunday share a column. And then the right-hand side of the page is just a lined sheet of paper. And you can see here way out in November, I've got my most basic part of my setup done, which is I have divided the weekly page in half. I don't need a ton of space to write appointments down. I just need to be sure to be able to note them for each day so I know where I'm supposed to be when. What I really need a lot of space for is to-do lists and notes. And so I divide this page in half. My schedule goes down the left-hand side. The priorities for the day go down the right-hand side of that page. And then I use this whole notes side of the page to set up my to-do list and trackers. And this is the main part of my planning. This past week, I showed a picture on Facebook, and I will insert a photo of it here, where I had set up my planner before the week started and had joked on Facebook that nothing unexpected could come up because I had no space for it left in my planner. Well, if we turn to this week, you can see other stuff came up because that's the way life is. Not only did my planner get completely filled top to bottom, I also have some sticky notes of other things that I need to keep in mind and remember. Here you can see that setup in action. I've got my schedule, my weekly appointments down the left-hand side of the page here. Then I've got my focus on or priority section, and this week I put in stickers to remind myself of what my absolute top priority was for each day of the week. And then from there, if other to-dos came up or if there were other items that had to happen on certain days, those got inserted there. And then this side of the page is my main tracker for Raven Fed. So this is my video tracker for these YouTube videos. And then this is my main to-do list for the week. And this is called the Alistair method. It is a method that's used in the bullet journaling community, oftentimes for future planning, but I use it as a condensed way of being able to write down a lot of to-dos, and particularly things that will take multiple days to do so that I can see where I am on a project in each day. And so if you take a look along the top, I've got the days of the week written down, Monday through Sunday. And then I have a checkbox and then my task list. And so at the beginning of the week when I set this up, I set up the basic outline of the week and I set up my weekly habits that I'm tracking. And then I've got my long to-do list of just all the stuff that comes up to my mind that I need to get done. And this is just written down in a random list as it comes to mind. And then this is where the Alistair method kicks in and really helps with the organization. Once I brainstorm my big list of to-dos or transfer things from the week before, then I can go back and assign them a day. And that way, when I get to that particular day of the week, I can just look down that column and see what I need to get done for that week. For example, on Wednesday, I have my journaling and devotion habits. I have spring cleaning at my office at church. I had a wedding certificate I was looking for somebody in our historic files. I had a banner I wanted to order. And then I had a post for RavenFed to put up. I needed to check voicemail. And so I just go down and you can see like here on Thursday, I just place a dot under that day of the week. And then if that task gets done, I turn that dot into a check mark. If that dot doesn't get done, or if it's a multiple day project, then I make multiple dots there. For example, I don't want to just check the voicemail once and leave it till the next week. I want to do that multiple days of the week to make sure I'm not missing any important messages. And so I put multiple dots on there on the days that I want to be sure to check it, which tend to be our high volume call days. For some things, if it doesn't get done on a certain day, I just move the dot over to the next day, and then when it gets done, I can check it off there. This is a great way of getting a lot of to-dos and information all down in one place, and especially for big tasks, things like here for me creating the worship guide, or some of our Sunday school filming videos and editing them and uploading them, where it's a multi-day project, but I don't want to put that item on the list multiple times. That's a way for me to track that and know what I need to work on each day. When a task is completely complete, then I put a check mark over in the checkbox column, and that way I know it's done for the week and I don't need to think about it the next week. And if I don't get an item done and I see that that block is empty, then I know that I need to migrate that over to the next week and get it done, or I need to reevaluate whether that task needs to get done at all or if it needs to get done by me. And it's a time that I can use to discern if I need to delete the task or delegate it if it's not something that I was able to get done. I have a couple of other trackers on here. I started Couch to 5K this week, and so I stuck a box up there where I could track which days I did which ones of those workouts. And then down here, I've got my RavenFed video tracker, where I have all of the different steps for the YouTubers who have been around for a while. They probably don't have to track this in such detail anymore, but since I'm still new to this platform, I have to take the time to think through my ideas, the film, edit, take a thumbnail picture, put it in an app to put a title on it, upload to YouTube, put it on the church Facebook page, put it on my Facebook page, upload it to the website, and send it out in our weekly newsletter. So I've got check boxes to help me remember that whole process. So this is how a week usually ends up. But today I want to set up next week. And this is what next week looks like so far. I tend to write in my appointments ahead of time because to me that is the whole purpose of having a weekly journal, is to be able to see at a glance what my commitments are in the foreseeable future. Sometimes they change, and I do use whiteout quite a bit in my planner. Here I have some appointments and meetings already set up. We've got some recurring Zoom meetings every single week, so I've got those sketched out. I've got some small groups that meet, and committee meetings, and therapy appointment, and special occasions. And we just found out that my husband was going to be scheduled for surgery next week, and so that might blow all these plans out of the water. We will wait and see. But I am going to set up this week like I did last week, because I actually found it very helpful. It worked really well to help me keep organized. And so this is how I set up the Alastair method and get my planner organized for the week. I'm going to be using this week mild liner. This is in the bright green color, which is one of my favorite colors. I have a Papermate pen, and then I have my Muji pen. That's the typical one that I use in my journal. This is the 0.38 tip. I like the really fine tip on this Moleskine paper since it's fairly thin paper. So I also pulled out a few little stickers that I want to use. These are from a Happy Planner book. And so I've got a few stickers in the colors that I wanted to use that I've got pulled out that I will use today as well. So I am going to set up my week. this is next week set up with a few basic tasks put in and some recurring events and habits. And so you probably saw me move that sticker several times. If you can't get something straight, then get it deliberately crooked and it looks good. And so these are my priorities, and I try to highlight those. So I know that if I get absolutely nothing else done that day, that is what has to happen. You can see that I've left Saturday blank because I'm not quite sure, again, what all I'm going to be able to get to next week. And so Saturday is going to be my overflow day. I've got some open space right now on Saturday because I'm planning on next week not going according to plan just because of my husband's procedure. On this side of the page, I did my trackers a little bit differently this week. I didn't quite like how large this one was, so I did find this little sticker that worked for a tracker. And so I've got my episode numbers here. So next week I'll be working on episodes 25, 26, 27, and then I've got my steps in the process there. And here I've got my Couch to 5K tracker, and so I'll be on week 2, day 1, week 2, day 2, week 2, day 3, and I'll just put down which day of the week I do those. I'm not going to assign them quite yet. I anticipate that I'll do one on Monday and one on Sunday. And then I'll have to look at the rest of the week as we get closer and decide which day of the week I'm going to do that other workout. And then up here I have a misspelling, so let me fix that. Digital Sabbath. So my 3 main spiritual practices that I try to do every day for 2 of them and every week with the Digital Sabbath. So I've got those listed on here already, and the days of the week that I want to do those. And then when I'm ready, I will review next week, look at any of these places where I have unchecked boxes, and that's where I'll decide after my workday is finished tomorrow, I will decide, do I need to delete this task if it didn't get checked off? Do I need to delegate it to someone else? Or do I need to move it to the next week where I can do it this week? I'm trying hard this week not to overload myself because I want to be sure that I'm able to be present for my husband as much as possible. And so as I write my tasks for this week, I really am going to be concentrating on what can be deleted and what can be delegated, so I don't end up having to do too much and wear myself out next week when I really should be concentrating on him. So this is what it looks like going into a fresh week for me with the planner all set up and ready to go. There is a lot of room here for tasks and to-dos. There is plenty of space for appointments or phone calls as things come up, and I know what my top priorities are so that those are the things that I work on first. So this is one practice that I use to help me remain calm and non-anxious. I deliberately take a little bit of time each week to sit down and reflect on the week that's just passed and to plan the week ahead so I know what needs to get done, where I have wiggle room in my week for those unexpected things that always come up, and where I can keep track of my tasks to make sure that nothing is slipping through the cracks. I hope this has been helpful to you. Please give the video a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, because we're always going to be talking about more ways to remain calm, centered, and grounded during tough times. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.